Okay, we are on day 3 of canning beef, only because I haven't had enough time to just can all day, or I probably could have gotten this all done in one day, but that's okay. We can do it in 3. So what I'm doing today is the beef cube steak. So I'm going to take a little bit of flour and put it in a bowl here. And I am out of regular flour, so since we are doing the pantry challenge, I'm just going to use some bread flour, which should be okay for this. And I have some olive oil heating up in the pan on the stove. My stove needs a good cleaning from all this cooking and craziness that's been going on. My cube steaks are thawed out. So we're just going to dredge them in flour. And then put them, I knew there was 2 here. They were sticking together. It's like, that's an awful big cube steak. And I have 4 packs here. So I will have to do this 4 times. There we go. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of seasoning. Just some garlic powder and onion powder. And some pepper. This is the toughest pepper top I've ever had. I need to put it in a different one. And I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil. My other one ran out. Alright, so this should not take long because they are not very thick. So I'm going to set my timer for about 5 minutes, let them cook, flip them, and we'll be back. Five more minutes. Okay, so the last batch of the steak is in the pan. So while that is going, I'm going to cut up a couple onions. I'm just going to do some thin slices. I want some onion in between every single layer of these steaks. Because the goal for me is when I get them out of the jar is to use the water to make a gravy with these cooked down onions to spread over these steaks over rice with a side of vegetables or over mashed potatoes, whatever. But that's what I'm going to do. I think this will be enough. Okay, so I'm going to put everything right here because this counter is bigger to work. So I'm going to move really quickly before these jars and meat cool completely off. And some of these are kind of big, so I'm just going to kind of chop them as I go. And I'm using the wide mouth jars to make my life easier. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. Perfect. So 1 pack of steak fits in 1 jar. Alright, so this last jar, I only got 2 steaks in it, but they were actually the really big ones. So, like, this is enough for me and the 2 kids. I mean, really, that's all we'll eat. And then Stephen can have the other one. So, yeah, the last 2 filled up just fine. Just top these final ones off with some onion. And then we're gonna, let me wash my hands. Sorry. So we're only gonna have 4. And I did not salt these. I did pepper and onion powder. Oh, that's gonna be a little too salty. But I did not do salt because I knew I would do the canning salt. All right. I'll add water, and I don't have my little strainer thing. So I'm trying not to make a mess. And even though these are stacked, you definitely still need to try to move them around and get bubbles out. So each of my packs was basically 1 pound. I had 1 pack that I think was a little bit bigger. So that's probably why I ended up with 5 jars instead of 4. Because from what I've been finding with the beef stew and the hamburger and now this is basically 1 pound of meat goes into a pint jar. I'm just gonna raise them up and down and jiggle them a little bit to try to get any air out. And that one's a little full, honestly. I'm trying to decide if I should maybe move some of this to another jar. But if I don't get a good seal on one, I will just have that for dinner. It's mostly this last one with those thick sticks. All right. Clean up the kitchen while these vent for 10 minutes. And then process for 75, just like we did all the rest of the beef. It's very cool looking though.